Arenas are going to be so much harder in a Wrath of the Lich King. The classes get more complex, the comps get way scarier, and every mistake matters that much more. Today, we're going to talk about why Wrath Arenas are such a step up from TBC.
You will all serve me.
The first reason why Wrath Arenas are harder is that everybody gets more complex. Every class gets big reworks in Wrath of the Lich King. There are new spells and abilities that make the game much less like rock, paper, scissors. Players have a lot more options with every global cooldown. More options means more potential for outplaying opponents, but also more potential for mistakes. Plus, you now have to keep track of more cooldowns like engineering tinkers and even key racials like the buffed Night Elf Shadow Meld. And with everyone having big racial cooldowns like Berserking and Every Man for Himself, you might need a WoW pumping degree to keep up. The next reason why Wrath Arenas are harder is that the comps get scarier and more difficult to counter. Every class gets more complex, so naturally the teams themselves do too. There are just so many new viable teams that sprout up across all ratings. And many of these new comps have to be countered in specific ways. Teams with huge damage like TSG and Beast Cleave are going to take teams by surprise. And gimmicky teams like Shadow Priest Rogue will always get a win on unsuspecting teams. Speaking of surprises, I'm currently seduced, and the only way to break the spell is to hit the like button, click the subscription button, and tap the notification bell. With so many different options for teams, it's easy to end up losing MMR before you even know what hit you. And even once you learn all the different teams, the top comps can still set up devastating kill attempts that require very specific counters.
Finish him!
Use your bubble on your paladin at the wrong time? Game over. Trinket the wrong spell? Game over. Stand slightly too far to the left? Game over. Speaking of positioning, that brings us to our third point. Positioning will be even more important than in TBC. Every class just pumps out more damage than ever before. It's so easy to lose the game by not line of sighting a lava burst. If you get caught out in the open against a boomkin, it's just instantly GG. And if you stand in the wrong place, you might end up getting triple blade stormed. Though that weirdly does sound like a fun freeze session to me. Positioning is an advanced WoW concept, and it will win and lose so many Wrath games. The fourth reason why Wrath Arenas are harder is that there are so many ways to make mistakes. Arenas in Wrath have so many pitfalls that you might need the encyclopedia of pumping to keep track of everything. With 4 different sets of PvP gear in at launch, it's easy to make a mistake gearing up. For example, on the beta, there's a vendor for the hateful off-pieces right next to the vendor for the equally priced deadly off-pieces. And Blizzard won't help you if you buy the wrong gear, so you're out of luck if you make a mistake. And don't forget that PvP racials are absolute game changers in Wrath. If you're human, you don't even need to run a PvP trinket. And you'd better hope that you don't fight any caster troll teams with their insane burst damage. If you pick the right racial, you'll have a huge advantage until they put in the race changes. So there you have it, the reasons why Wrath Arenas will be harder than TBC. What's your take? Are Wrath Arenas going to be a lot harder than TBC Arenas? I personally do think Wrath Arenas will be much harder, and I'm putting in the practice now. If you like this video, check out my Arena Comps tier list. It's the perfect video to find the strongest possible Arena Comps to play.